The first challenge is take the nuclear weapon off the table.
The president brought us to the brink of a disastrous war with Iran and then today claimed credit for stopping it.
The civilized world must send a clear and unified message to the Iranian regime. Your campaign of terror, murder, mayhem will not be tolerated any longer.
This speech swung wildly from bluster to threats to offerings of peace to flat-out lies. In fact, you'll never guess who Trump blamed for the military conflict he provoked by assassinating a top Iranian general. Trump repeated an insane talking point his GOP allies and Fox pundits have tried it out since last night. They all tried to place the blame for what happened not on President Trump, but on President Obama.
The missiles fired last night at us and our allies were paid for with the funds made available by the last administration.
It is an outright lie by the President of the United States that they were given $150 billion. They were not. And the money that they did receive was their money because they sued the United States of America and won in court.
Let's talk about the coming world war that we're on the brink of. I mean, have you seen this? Tensions, of course, with Iran have been rising predictably ever since the Iran nuclear deal was scuttled. But Iran announced this week that they are going back to enriching uranium. Trump was furious. How dare they renege on the deal that we pulled out of?
Last night, Iran launched missiles at two bases in Iraq housing U.S. troops in retaliation for the assassination of a top Iranian general, Qasem Soleimani. It was obviously a harrowing moment with the lives of U.S. and Iraqi troops at risk, and everyone had that sickening feeling that we maybe had just lurched into an immoral and catastrophic war with Iran. It was one of those moments where you're watching footage of missiles streaking through the night on CNN, and you think, God, I hope we have smart and steady leadership, and then you say, oh, no.
In a very real sense, the missiles that we saw fired on U.S. servicemen and women tonight were paid for by the billions that the Obama administration flooded the Ayatollah with.
The budget of the IRGC was well taken care of by Iranians, by the regime, so American citizens were paying interest every single day that was accruing. More and more billions of dollars that were going to go to Iran. We cut that short. We negotiated a deal that greatly reduced the amount of money that they were in fact supposed to receive under court order, and they would have received it eventually. And we transferred that to them, most of which they owed to other countries and other people in a massive debt that Iran had accrued. So the fact is that he has lied about that, and also...
And we must all work together toward making a deal with Iran that makes the world a safer and more peaceful place.
Oh, now you want a deal. You already ripped up one and then attacked them. Why would they negotiate a second deal with a guy who lies about everything and always goes back on his word?
So there are people reeling all over the world, wondering about the steadiness and capacity of the President of the United States and this administration. And we are not safer.
Our attack against Iran was completely ready to go. Of course, he can't just bomb Iran or not bomb Iran. He has to fucking do the reality show bullshit. Will I bomb Iran or will I call the bombers back at the last minute? We'll find out. So stay tuned. So he says he's ready to start a war. He tweets out, "We're cocked and loaded," which exactly, it's not a thing. It's locked and loaded. Cocked and Loaded, we looked it up, is the name of a gay porn movie. There it is. Cocked and Loaded.
A lot of these offensive capabilities you're seeing were paid for by Obama-Biden foreign policy.
But it doesn't matter to these guys because they're all obsessed with Obama. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot you can criticize about Obama's expansion of war powers and the national security state and his use of drones, but it's insane to blame Obama for a military conflict with a country he pursued peace with.
Now this president has isolated the United States of America. The president has gotten Iraq Parliament to vote that we have to leave Iraq. the president has actually opened the door for people to question our credibility and our capacity in the region.
So Trump tweets out, yes, we're cocked and loaded, we're ready to go to war. And then he says, and I asked, how many will die? And the general told me 150 people. So 10 minutes before the strike, I stopped it. You know, like he's MacGyver cutting the red wire. I saved the world again. I mean, all he does, this guy, is create disasters and in the last minute pull back. It's government by autoerotic asphyxiation, as far as I'm concerned.
Listen, this moment right now is on Barack Obama, not Donald Trump.
You're blaming Obama for this? First of all, he pursued diplomacy with Iran. Second, the guy's been out of office for 3 years.
The United States has been weakened by the steps this president has taken in a sort of shotgun, impulsive, reckless way without a process that involves State Department, military, all of the people who are part of a very significant process of evaluating these kinds of decisions.
What's Trump going to blame him for next? Is Obama the one who told you to breathe in through your nose before every word, like a scuba diver about to go underwater?
In Orlando, Florida, a couple of days ago, and he made a very powerful case against President Hillary. Really? It's the same thing. It's lock her up, fake news, drain the swamp. Trump 2020, exact same thing as 2016. He's like an old car with the disc stuck in the CD player. No matter how many buttons you push, you're going to hear, I'm too sexy for my shirt.
In a rambling speech in which he claimed credit for ending a crisis he started, bragged about U.S. military might, announced crushing new sanctions on Iran, lied about the intelligence that led to the assassination of Soleimani, and then urged the world to strike a new peace deal with Iran.
Article 2 allows me to do whatever I want.
Nobody ever mentions Article 2. It gives me all of these rights at a level that nobody has ever seen before. We don't even talk about Article 2.
Then I have an Article 2 where I have the right to do whatever I want as president, but I don't even talk about that.
First of all, you're wrong.
But there's a better way to go at it. And the best way to go at it is with the ability to have France, Germany, Britain, China, Russia, all on our side.
He's talking about the wall. He said, it's beautiful. I changed the design. He said this. He said, I made it stronger, bigger, better, and cheaper. Wow, the balls. Remember that wall that I completely pulled out of my ass and never delivered on? Well, it's better than ever. That takes a lot of balls.
And it is not right for the President of the United States to put the United States in a position where we are dependent on a regime that we don't like to somehow behave in a way that saves this president from himself.
Trump's strategy toward Iran is incoherent and dangerous. No president, especially Donald Trump, should have the war powers they currently have, and Congress should immediately take them back and stop a crisis like this from happening again, because another disastrous military conflict in the Middle East is definitely something that can't be
Tolerated.
Yes. Tolerated. I love when he gets in trouble halfway through a word, and then rather than just stop and reboot, reaches in his mind for what he thinks the rest of the word is. Tolerate, tolerade, Toblerone.
God, Trump is a loathsome human. Oh my God, he's an idiot. And wow, Donald Trump is an enormous douche.